Alright, next we're going to go ahead and remove the two 15mm caliper bolts that are mounted here on the support and on the back side of the rotor down here. We're not talking about the two that hold on the plunger. So what we're going to go ahead and use our wrenches for that. We're going to go ahead, grab another wrench, and then that'll be used as leverage. Break those free. There we go. There we go. Take another end of a box wrench, hook it on there, and that'll give you some more leverage to pry that off there. You can't get a socket in there. Now that we got the top one off, we're going to go ahead and take that bottom one off. We can get the breaker bar in there pretty easy. So we're just going to go ahead and use the breaker bar on that one. Alright, now that we got that second bolt off, we're just going to go ahead and pop this caliper assembly off. Make sure you don't drop it. You don't want to break that gas or that brake line. Let's get a screwdriver in there. Pry that off there. Then you want to prop this up so that's not going to fall. You can even zip tie it. That way it'll make sure that that's not going to come off there at all. Pop your rotor off, set that off to the side. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the 3 bolts that hold the wheel hub assembly on. They're located on the back side. One here, and then one towards the bottom on the back side over here. They are 13mm. We're going to go ahead and try to use the brake bar on that. Okay, now that we got those 3 bolts off, we're going to go ahead and just pull our hub assembly right out of there. Just make sure you keep an eye on the caliper, you don't want that to fall. That's going to pull right off the boot. Disconnect your sensor. Okay, what you can do, if your boot is sticking, and you can't just pull your hub right off, thread that nut back on, take a hammer, give it a few whacks, take that nut off. That should pop your hub assembly free. You should be able to just pull that right out of there. Pull your boot back so you can get that sensor out. Now you've removed your hub assembly, take your heat shield, set that off to the side. Here you have your bad hub assembly. We'll be able to bring this in, make sure we get the right part, exchange it, get our new one, get that put back on. Remember I told you you had your 2 bolts. They're your 15 millimeter for your caliper assembly. You got one here, then you have your 3 13 millimeter bolts for your hub assembly. One at the top, 2 on the bottom. This one here at the top is kind of hard to get to. I had to use the 3/8 inch socket set with a universal link to be able to get that off from there. Once we got that loosened up, we were able to just use the ratchet on that, get that right off. We got our brake caliper sitting up top here, make sure that's not going to fall down because we don't want to snap that brake line. Alright, and then we'll get back at this as soon as we pick up the new part. Okay, so we're back with the new part. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to reinstall the new hub assembly. You'll make sure you have a semi-clean mounting surface here. You don't want any grease, dirt, anything like that that's going to keep it from mounting properly on there. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and load up the spines here with some grease. That's going to help the hub slide on there a lot easier. Alright. Okay, first thing you want to do is you want to put your heat shield back on. Run your sensor wire through. And get those spines lined up with the hub. It should slide right on. At this point we can go ahead, we can hook our sensor back up. Snap that back into the mounting surface. Make sure that's secure. Our 3 13 millimeter bolts we can take and we can start getting those started in the threading process, just to kind of hold the hub in place until we can get in there to securely fasten it. Just going to start those by hand. There's one. There's the second one started. This brake caliper up all the way. That heat shield helps hold it in place. Once you get those started, you're just going to work your way around, tightening them up, and then you want to tighten them to the torque specifications that you can find online or in the service manual. If I can find a link, I'll post that with the video. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these all tightened down. We'll come back, put our rotor on, put our caliper assembly back on, and we'll be all set. Okay, now that we got those 3 bolts tightened down for the hub assembly, we're going to go ahead and put the rotor back on, put the brake caliper on with the 2 15 millimeter bolts that we had before. Again, we're just going to go ahead and finger tighten those just to get them secured so that big caliper isn't falling off there. We'll go back here in a minute and we'll tighten those down. All right, now that we got those hand tightened, we're gonna go back, tighten those down with the socket. Make sure they're nice and snug. Now make sure you don't tighten them. You don't want to tighten one down really tight before you get the other one snug. You want to kind of work them both at the same time. That way you're ensuring that they're both able to seat properly, that they're going on straight. There we go. Get them both snug. So now we can go ahead and tighten them down real good. Alright, we got that all assembled now. Next step, go ahead and put our locking nut back on for the axle. I'm going to zap that on there with the air ratchet, and then we'll snug it down with the torque bar. Alright, so now that we got our nut threaded back on as we came with our hand, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit that with the 35mm air wrench, and then we'll snug that up with the breaker bar. And that should do it. Alright, there we are. We're all set. The reason we changed this hub assembly is because the sensor was malfunctioning and it was causing a service ESC service traction alarm on our dash. We were having the ABS light and the traction light were coming on. We had it verified at the shop that indeed the wheel hub assembly was going bad. We replaced the stock hub assembly with the Moog. Has a 3-year warranty on that, which is awesome. Runs about $189 at our local AutoZone for this hub assembly. For the Moog, you can get the cheaper ones, you know, 130 bucks or whatever. Probably less than that even on eBay if you wanted to go that route, but I like being able to just bring it in and exchange it if there is an issue. So if this video helped you at all, give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, and if you like outdoor stuff, we'll have more videos coming on that. And probably some more auto repair videos coming too. Thanks a lot.